It is 7 PM on September 3rd, 2019. We're going to open the Committee of Committees meeting. Take roll call, please.
Committee members, Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot,
Here.
William Luxinger is absent, Dina Simpson is absent, Jen Christensen,
Here.
Jared Doan,
Here.
President Rick Worm,
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabany,
Here.
I, Clerk Cindy Maz, am here. We do not have an attorney. Engineer Matt Hanson is here. Public Works Supervisor Brett Fergie,
Here.
and it is our first meeting without a park supervisor.
We are looking.
Yep.
We'll entertain a motion for the August 6th minutes.
I'll make a motion for the August 6th, 2019 Committee of Committee minutes.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to approve the August 6th, 2019 committee meeting minutes. Jared seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you,
We have-
Pen.
oh. Am I clicking?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-1. Underneath the officers, discussion of IML attendance. There's two schools of thought for this, coming meeting. One is that if you go to the IML conference, and you want to attend the dinner on, the banquet on Saturday night, that the village will cover your stay for the evening. The other school of thought is that we're going to meetings on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, taking time away from people's regular jobs to go do this, that Saturday night should be included. The board needs to make a decision one way or another what we're going to do, as a whole, rather than individuals saying how it should be.
Well, I'm not gonna be there Saturday night anyway, but I think that if you're gonna go, then, and you're gonna attend meetings on Saturday, then you should be able to spend the night if you want to. That's just my thought, but I won't be there, I mean,
I agree with that.
I mean, I've done it both in the past where I've stayed Saturday night and where I haven't stayed, and I feel if you spend time there for work. And I know the one year that I stayed, some of us just went out for pizza.
Because a banquet,
No, well,
it's nothing exciting.
Well,
It's just people talking, having drinks, watch some people go down and eat the horrible food.
Is that how you felt about hanging out with me?
no, but if you want
Well,
to go, it's
I mean, the
it's a
food is
networking
not the
opportunity.
greatest.
it is a.
They
that's
say
one
a
of-
filet
I mean-
mignon is a hunk of meat. It's
And,
not
and the
filet
the
mignon.
fear is that IML's been taking a lot of heat because of the expense that is, the amount of expense made for people to attend this, to go to City of Chicago. Although it is a boom to the City of Chicago to have all these folks come in. So that is the concern, is that, is perception to the public, of how it'll look if we go in there and stay Saturday night after attending meetings on Saturday. Again, I don't think that should be a decision of one person, that should or any singles anywhere through this board, it should be a decision of the board. I'm of the thought that if you attend classes on Saturday, you can stay Saturday night.
I think that's how it should be. I don't think that it should be, okay, no reason you're gonna stay, if you're gonna stay Saturday night, you gotta go to the banquet. No.
So,
I
John,
liked it the first year
Yeah, that's
because it,
I don't know where you stand.
go out.
Jen?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
You're doing that for me too. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Sorry, I'm late.
So, Dina, just to bring it up there, we're just discussing the IML, the two mindsets, is that you have to attend the banquet to stay Saturday night, or since you've attended classes on Saturday, that you can still stay.
I don't think you should have to attend the banquet if that's not,
No, we've tried to use it, we've done it in the past both ways, where we can use it as an opportunity for the trustees, of the elected officials, the appointed officials, the folks we work with, to get together and have time together. We've also used it as, it's nighttime, it's your free time. We tend to get together on Thursday nights, on Friday nights, and go out, and on Saturday night, again, it's my mindset, if you go to the banquet, go to the banquet. Right, if you go to the
I
classes.
enjoyed it last year. I
If you
enjoyed
go to the
going. I
classes
don't
on
like the idea
Saturday,
that
there's
it's
no reason to
mandatory.
me you shouldn't be able to stay on Saturday. But I wanted to at least bring it up to it's gonna be for everybody to see.
Well, and I'm glad you said that too, though, because like last year, so, Friday, I went to I think 5 sessions on Friday. Or maybe I went to 5 on Friday and I went to 2 on Thursday, 'cause I always get there after the afternoon or whatever. And so then Saturday I didn't go to a session. And 'cause being on the board for, I don't know how long I've been on the board, I don't keep track of that, but, it's never been said that you have to go to 3 on this day, 3 on this day, 3 on this day, or whatever. I think you go to, I don't remember how many you're supposed to go to.
The way I've always looked at IML,
So, we've never discussed that, so like, that is something, so like last year that I had found out that like, you know, I didn't think I was, I wasn't trying to be deceitful or nothing like that, I just went to all my stuff on Friday, because that's what the things are that, I could make myself go to Saturday, but the things I wanted to go to were on Friday, and I wasn't trying to like deceive the
No.
community
But-
by, you know, I just packed them all in on Friday because it worked well.
my other thought on IML is it's a great, especially Thursday, I love the Thursday sessions, the roundtables that happen. Those are phenomenal, because you get together with towns about your same size, and you get to go through problems that other folks have and see how they've solved them, and if you are brave enough to stand in front of everybody and bring up your problems, they can help you work through them as well. But I've always looked at IML as an opportunity to get in there and do that networking, meet these people from other communities, find out how they've solved problems. The Innovation Showcase is usually phenomenal, because it's how somebody has come up with a great idea.
Just solved a bunch of
Right,
problems
and then you have the vendors downstairs that we can talk to if we're looking at, you know, finding, when we did the water park, I don't know how many of us hit those water park folks downstairs, they probably got tired of Davis Junction after a while, but, it's all great knowledge that we can get from this, and going to the seminars, one of the very first conferences, well, the very first conference I went to, the best class I remember was the newly elected officials thing. It was fantastic. Because they said, whatever the reason was you ran, get over it, because now you got work to do. It was about the most truth I ever had spoken to me in that first year. But everybody here has jobs, and everybody takes time away from their job that they could use, that they could spend at home with their family or whatever, because they chose to do this. So I just wanted to make sure this is a decision of the board and not any people making the decision for everybody.
Well, and I know not even having to attend seminars, it's just being in the lobby and networking with other people. And them stopping and saying, where is that located, you know, and,
As a former smoker,
Yeah.
I highly suggest people go stand out with those smokers. They are probably some of the most informative people I've ever met at IML.
yeah, I mean, I think it's.
During the planning and construction of the wastewater plant, we talked to a lot of different people in there, about bunches of different types of systems and stuff. It was great knowledge to have. It was great to be able to listen to other people tell you what happened, to get us, you know, have a sounding board for what you're talking about. And it could be Stillman, or it could be, you know, Rosemont. I've had conversations with the past mayors. I don't think he's in there anymore.
Well, and they're
But-
the ones with the social media and the Facebook and all that we got so much information
Information from.
last
Mhm.
year. It was incredible. I mean, yeah.
And in our day-to-day, we're not gonna get that information.
Mm-mm.
I know I learned a lot, and Brenda and I went to a women's roundtable, women in office roundtable.
I did that too.
That was very knowledgeable and,
Just for the record, she took my clicky pen away because I was making noises.
so, but I mean, that was, and you know, and networking with other women, you know, and, exchanging business cards and, you know, hey, if you ever have a problem, email me. It's really
So the
nice to me.
consensus I'm getting is that Saturday night is optional, whether you wanna stay or not. All right,
Can I piggyback on yours?
Absolutely.
I was gonna do it under me, but it's kind of relevant to this. So Jess and I actually weren't going to attend IML this year because, we just didn't have it in the budget. We had attended some other seminars, it had taken away some of the funds from this. However, Jess and I have both received a total of another $1,000 for our, clerks training in October. So I have decided to take that $1,000 savings and move it over, so Jess and I will be attending kind of the shorter version of IML. We're not staying the third night, we're staying at a different hotel. We kind of had to make some concessions in order to make it fit into our budget, but with those awesome scholarship winnings, we will be able to afford to do IML as well.
That's
So-
great.
Going forward, Sandy and I were talking about this the other day, is looking at how we can save money doing this. So we may start looking at, it's like they're gonna stay across the street, it's the
Yep.
hotel they could get, which is by far cheaper.
She
But
said
we-
she'd take pictures and,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
you know.
no,
Well,
and
I
I'll
always
do it
wondered, 'cause
tomorrow.
you walk past all those other ones, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and
so what's the difference?
We are
you know?
literally, for those of you
Oh.
who have been, there's Kitty O'Shea's in the
Mm-hmm.
registration. We are staying at a hotel directly out those doors.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're gonna see how it works out. We're saving about a little, right around $200 for the 2 nights that we're staying. And so if it works out well, then maybe we shift over there.
Yep.
So,
It could be
we're
really
trying
good.
some new things.
So just to clarify, so Saturday is an option to stay if you attend sessions
Yep.
or regardless?
As long as you attend sessions,
On Saturday or any of the days?
Saturday.
Okay, that's what I want, like, okay,
Yeah, we want somebody, if you're not gonna attend on Saturday, we'd prefer,
then that's what
Right.
needs to
'cause
be
you go to sessions Thursday, you stay Thursday, you go to sessions Friday, you stay
But
Friday.
there's no requirement for Saturday night,
Right.
is what they're removing.
super.
All right. Draft resolution approving authorizing execution of economic incentive agreement between the Village of Davis Junction and Brett and Judith Walter. Does business as Alchemy Equestrian. Anybody have any questions? This is the grant we approved before. I went through it. There is for those who, if you read it, there is a, grant forgiveness clause in there, that it gets forgiven so much, I believe it's per month, over the course of the 10 years. So they do need to stay in business for 10 years. But I think it's everything we agreed to in that document, that we can then put it on the agenda for next week to get it approved.
Did you see the note on Exhibit D?
What was the note on it?
So on Exhibit D, Dan notes that the village should require more detailed plans from the proposed grantee. However, he was using the original plans that they had submitted as opposed to the revised option, that we're just gonna put a lien on the property for the things we're going to use. So I'm gonna talk to him and find out if that's okay.
Right.
And so if it is, then that becomes a moot point, and then you'll see it on the agenda. If it's not, and I still have to get further information, it may be 3 weeks before you see it again.
All right. Discussion on plans submitted by Verizon. We have Verizon. I keep looking up there and I've got it over here now. All right, so Verizon's proposal. I think I must make this. So they wanted to, what they proposed was install a 10-foot fence to further conceal the equipment, to replace the 6120 larger cabinet with a ground-based 44 or 49 smaller cabinet, address the persistent whistling coming from the tower.
How tall is that other fence? That other thing?
Matt, is it
6 or
currently a
is it
6 or an 8-foot fence?
It's hard to tell. Is it 8?
Is that what's currently there?
Yeah.
So it's an 8
It's
going
8,
to a
it's
10?
hard to judge. Okay.
So, our last conversation and our direction we gave Dan was to have them prepare to remove their equipment. Do we want to revisit this, or do we want to just have them get their stuff removed by September 11th?
Come take their stuff.
What's the hurry?
Well, I was gonna say, we've been dealing with this for how long
I know,
now?
but what's the hurry?
I don't think there is.
If they fix it, they fix it. A 10-foot fence that actually, ironically, probably covers the map that's already out there.
I didn't see anything in the ordinance that restricted the height of the fence.
Because that's ours, we don't have to
worry.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
really have to worry about it. If it was the next door property on either side, you would, because it's a residential property.
We know the ordinance guy.
Yeah.
What's the ice bridge?
I don't know that either. What is that?
Jared looks at me like,
I want it gone.
What's the ice bridge? what's that?
I don't know what
Matt?
it is.
Actually, I'm not sure what they refer to the ice
Is that
bridge
something
as.
like for drainage or something, or?
I don't know if that's the platform.
It's not on here, is it? 'Cause I didn't see any pictures. Yeah, I can't see that.
I think I'm kind of to the point where
know.
then if we're gonna sit on it and wait on it, then in the further
Right,
conversations
since
down the
we-
road, I don't wanna be a part of it, because I think it's just been hashed over and over and over and over and over and over. So, I mean, I'm in no rush, agreed, but if it's gonna be a continued conversation that takes time at every meeting that we have, I don't wanna keep having the conversation over and over and over again.
Did you look at the plan?
Did I look at these
Yeah.
tonight?
I don't
Nope, I
understand
don't
that.
even have a computer right now, I'm going
Oh.
off my phone, sorry.
That's all
I
right.
have nothing, yeah.
No, no, I'm just saying.
So the ice bridge, appears to go between the coax enclosure and the actual, so
Oh,
it
I
looks like
see.
the coax comes down the tower, runs across, and the ice bridge goes across, so more than likely it's something to protect the wires.
Okay.
Well, that's why I was wondering if it was a,
Now, they were planning on putting, I made a note to, Dan, that it looked like they were putting some antennas on that. They're adding 3 new antennas, or radios, excuse me, to be mounted on Unistrut on the platform railing. And I didn't see any details that showed you how high those radios were gonna be mounted.
Do you mind if I read your email?
Yep, go ahead.
All right,
Sure.
so Matt had seen these previously to the board seeing them, and he had this is an email to Dan from Matt, and it says, "The construction drawings do not show an enclosure for the Verizon equipment. It looks like they're proposing to replace the existing 8-foot-high fence with a 10-foot-high fence. All of the equipment will be lowered below the 10-foot height of the new fence. It looks like they're adding 3 new radios that will be mounted on the Unistrut on east side of the platform rails as shown on sheet A1. Sheet ANT1 shows an elevation view of the existing and proposed equipment, but does not show the height of the radios. If the village is willing to accept this change, then we need to know what the finished height of the radios will be." And then a change to the contact, which is minute.
All right, where do the radios go then?
Right here.
Yeah, right there. Oh, well, I
So
thought Chris-
that would be on a Unistrut platform, the platform looks to be below the cabinet.
No.
Yeah, I just didn't see on that sheet where they gave you kind of the elevation view, it just did not show what that height would,
Yeah. It shows the detail of the ice bridge, which is there.
I just didn't see the Unistrut, I mean, if they would've shown where the Unistrut was located and what that height would be, but,
How tall is the ice bridge?
8 feet,
Oh, all right.
it's right here.
That must be why they wanna go to 10.
Coax trapeze detail. Unistrut channel.
wasn't there an issue with the noise when it rained or something draining off of?
They removed the metal roofing
Roof,
the last
yeah.
time
Mhm.
they came out,
Okay.
so that noise is not
Okay.
there any longer.
So if it's gonna be mounted on the platform rail, I can't imagine the rail, cause you have to have a railing around the platform to keep
mhm.
people from falling off. I have to imagine it's gonna be pretty low. You wouldn't have a,
I think they may have had a detail in here for the Unistrut, but
Can I make a comment on that?
absolutely.
With her, that's right, we should probably get
I agree.
everything.
I agree.
Everything.
So over here would be a, I don't know if you can see it or not, but that shows the 3 radios. Go ahead, Glenda.
Oh, she needs a microphone.
got-
Is there a ordinance for how high a fence can be?
Not when it's on village property.
No, that's what I mean, residential, is there?
There is for residential property, but this is
Okay,
not.
then we need to make sure that the village does not exceed that, because
here.
you'll have, are you serious?
Yeah, it's an 8-foot fence right now, the residential height limit is 6 foot. So it's existing.
See, I disagree with that then, because if you're gonna make the residents apply to something, we're not above the law, and we should apply to the same rules.
But, so the problem with that property, Glenda, is it's not residential, but it's in
Yeah,
the
I
middle
know
of a
that, I
residential
realize that.
So is the blocking the view of the equipment from residential homes more important than the height requirement.
With the trouble you've had, have them yank it out.
Okay, so here's, top of the grading for the platform is 2 foot 11.5 inches. That comes down to the top of the platform. There's the 3 radios that show on the diagram. At the top of the cabinets, at 9'1", this is, we can get a verification,
Yeah.
we need to get a verification, but it looks like they're staying low on that
Mhm.
railing.
Yep. Oh, yeah, now, I see what you're
The
saying, yeah, that's
radios are-
probably your radios there.
Yeah, if you take that from the picture earlier, you go back.
And they're gonna lower the lights too below the 10-foot level.
Too far. Now, where'd I go?
You need to go down 2 more pages.
I go farther.
I thought you started, Brad.
Yeah, so there's where it shows the 3 radios in the upper
Yep.
picture. And that's looking at the view coming in from this side on that other drawing.
Yep.
So, again, they're looking for a response.
You've clearly had it with them, right?
I just, if everybody, the majority of the board wants that to stay and they wanna keep working with it, just, I wanted to make it clear that in the future conversations, I will not be a part of it, 'cause I will listen. I just think I think it's ridiculous that we're still talking about it, so I'm gonna just, I'll politely.
There it goes.
I will politely just, listen to what the board has to say, and I'll probably just abstain on anything from there.
And you've had it with them.
Yeah, 'cause it's been 2 years and we keep on going back and forth.
I think it's been, yeah, I think
Jen?
it's been, like, if that was when you started, but I think it's been further prior to that.
It's been
Yeah.
before us,
Yes, so,
but
it's
this,
been on,
this,
so I keep on thinking of the number of meeting times we've, oh my God.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I was here for a lot of that. I just thought.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I just thought if, you know, if you told them this time, assuming the plans that everybody saw were acceptable to them, that you just tell them you've got whatever, and then if you don't have it modified and taken care of, then tell them that's it.
Okay.
And we made an agreement anyways after the extension, if they didn't get it, you know, they were done, so. it's
Just
been
that,
up
that's
to
what the attorneys are asking for. They're looking for direction. You
It's
can
been
tell them to
over the
remove it.
extension, so we said we were gonna get rid of it, so we might as well stick to it. They're past their extension.
Everybody good with that?
I am.
So tell them to come grab their stuff and take
All right.
it away.
That's the direction we will take. We move on to Sandy.
I discussed the scholarships already, so yay, Jess and I. And then, everybody who's in attendance, who is attending IML, I gave you memos.
Thank you for the
No.
packet.
Oh, no problem. This year, I realized I should have been doing that every year. It's got your hotel confirmation and your registration and some other things that you might need. I did not RSVP everybody for everything, so if there is something that you are unsure of or you need me to RSVP for you, or if you need me to shorten or lengthen your hotel stay, please just let me know. That's it.
All right. Brenda?
I don't have anything tonight.
Matt?
All right, projects. Harvest Gun Plat 10 Phase 1, they started doing some placing grading and topsoil on the gutter. They were supposed to be done soon, but I'm sure the weather today didn't help them with all the rain, so hopefully it dries out and they can get the rest of that grading and, topsoil and seeding completed. Plat 10 Phase 2, Martin has completed the concrete gutter shoulder on Red Fox Drive. ComEd has moved their utility, and then, this got sent out before I found out that on Friday, Nicor got theirs lowered, so all of our utility issues are taken care of, so hopefully the contractor's gonna move forward quickly. Mike had sent something to Martin on schedule. He doesn't have a detailed schedule other than, I think, did I get back here? In talking to Martin, they said verbally, probably by the third week in October, they should have everything completed, so. But we haven't got a schedule on their individual work items, so.
We're not gonna run into where asphalt plants have shut down and stuff like
Shouldn't if they're done by middle of October. It's
Why would
usually,
it take them that long?
what's that?
Why would it take them that long?
I don't know. I have not seen the schedule. That was
That's
just,
an extra 6 weeks past the date it was supposed to be completed.
we gotta see their schedule, and if we don't like it, then we'll be in contact with Martin.
Are they paying the penalty?
Was that,
What's that?
was that delay caused by the
No,
utilities?
it was caused by the
I
utility.
haven't talked to Corey and Mike enough to find out how many days that either weather or utility, 'cause it's a calendar day contract, so, they're,
Here's my question.
yep.
Seems to me that we've done reconstruction of roads in the past. Have we not run into this problem with having NICOR or ComEd lower the lines in the past?
I would have to check with Corey. He's handled all the.
Was on ditch on 72.
They
We ran
did
into, we ran into I-fiber.
They did it on, the corner of Autumn Wolf and Autumn Wood before we did that. They had to.
I think that
When-
was
when
a
we-
separate
right.
project.
Well, when we had to go back and redo the culverts
Yeah.
and stuff,
Yeah.
they lowered it there for that purpose, but I don't
That
think
was
we
a
did it
separate-
anywhere else.
That wasn't a part of the street project.
Right.
That was a separate project.
Because we had to go back and redo it.
In my length on this board, no. And, Public Works Supervisor is shaking his head no.
Like I said, the only one I remember was the one on, when we redid the ditch along, 'cause IDOT made us go to their new profile. And rather than make I-fiber move their fiber, they just gave us a waiver on their ditch profile.
Yeah. We'll take a look at their schedule though, Chris, and, I mean, they're not due any more time than what either weather or actual, the delays of the utility work had impacted their work, so we'll get with Corey and Mike, and they'll get with you and come up with what we think is a reasonable time extension for them. The next page, microservicing, AC, I think last meeting I told you they were planning on being here the last week of August, but, they're gonna be mid-September now. No update, obviously the seal coating got completed, the old crossing sump pumps, Mike, Quackburner said that the sod looks like it's established and doing well, so.
You agree with that? Sod's
Sod.
established and doing well?
There was a couple of spots that are gonna need to be replaced.
They were? Okay. I'll get with Mike on that, he just told me that they were.
No, Mike and I had the discussion the end of last week. He agreed there was a couple of spots that would probably need to be replaced.
Third page, nothing on the 72 sidewalks, part modifications, and nothing with the maintenance building, Autumn Wolf, water main extension. The water and sewer rate study report, really nothing since our last meeting of discussion on possible modifications. The water treatment plant,
Matt?
yep,
Can I just chime
Yes.
in here on that one too, just as a reminder to everybody? I know it was on there, I know we talked about it, I know we shared some thoughts about the progression of a tiered system and so forth. That doesn't mean just because it's not on here that people shouldn't be looking at that, shouldn't be getting, Sandy has been working on the articles for that, and so I wanna make sure that everybody is still looking at that, so that way they're very familiar with that when it comes time to be.
I'm actually gonna put a stipulation on there. That article is coming out in the Rail that goes out this month, so I suggest that everybody have read it before that, because the phone calls will come in at that point. It will be on our Facebook, our website, and in the Rail as soon as I'm almost done with the last portion to give to you, and then Matt, or whatever you guys are doing, and so by the end of this month, that information will have been to the public.
Thank you.
And it does, last thing, and the articles do say to contact, that you are welcome to contact any board members, not just Dina,
Perfect.
Thank you.
says Dina, but.
It's a group effort.
It does say Dina, and Dina will do it, and honestly, so like people know, so I'm saying this out loud, so when the public watches this, obviously, everybody knows that I have a full-time job as well as this, so if they have phone calls and they go to my voicemail, I will do my very best to get back to people in a reasonable time.
Yep, but it does say on there, they're welcome to come to any board meeting and talk about it.
What's the best time for me to call you?
Okay, sorry.
But, again, I don't think you should take, I mean, you're gonna take part of it, but we should all be willing to take those calls.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of learning, and it's tiered for a reason. There's some logic in what we're trying to do, and we're trying to do where the rates sustain the system as opposed to having the landfill take care of it. We
Yep.
can't always be,
The golden
Yeah,
goose
we
is
had-
going away
I think-
someday.
Did we settle on a rate? I don't recall that.
no, we did not.
So
No,
the,
there were,
What are we putting out
So
to
the-
inform the public?
the article talks about why a water increase would be needed, water rate increase. Then the second portion talks about why a sewer increase will be needed, and then the third part talks about what the different options are. And it recommends in every step of the way that the public read the report and get back, which will be posted on our website and here at Village Hall, and contact their trustee or Dina or anybody with their thoughts on the rate and where they would like to see it. So really, it's just getting all the information out there to see if we can get the public to
Have some
communicate
feedback.
and give some
Mhm.
feedback as to what they would like to see
And-
as a reasonable increase that's not just zero.
and I think the one article, lends itself nicely to, and I can't remember if it's first or second, so I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but it lends itself nicely to having the, public also be aware of what it costs to maintain the infrastructure of what we have. So it also allows them to view, like, these are the expenses that it takes for the village to do that. And when, and I can't even say if anymore, but when the landfill doesn't sustain that, we have concerns. And I'd rather have those tiered out over a period of time, so the impact is not felt so severely, and still will be still far less than any surrounding communities.
Yeah.
So we'll be in a better place regardless, but we'll actually be able to sustain the system we have, as opposed to doing what we've been doing for the last how many years?
Ever? Since it was
Forever,
built?
since,
Yeah.
yeah. And it wasn't ever set up in the way that it probably should have been set up, so we would never have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
We've been having this conversation since it was built, because nobody
Right.
ever wanted to move on raising the rates.
Right, absolutely.
Yep.
And it's a hard, it's a very hard
You
sell,
can go back to the minutes
absolutely,
and
but
find
we'll
all
still be
that.
in a better place than the surrounding communities.
Yep, but it definitely talks about all that. It breaks down the cost, the expenses, the reasoning behind it all.
And so it's hopefully trying to get the community to read that as well, so they can come and we can discuss and talk and whatever. I don't know how much, of that people want to get into, but,
We'll see what happens.
so I just wanted to say that,
Yep.
so people could hear that when they're watching that. And so everybody here too is, because I don't want it to be where, like, when it comes back up on the agenda, not as an unfinished business, I don't want it to come back up on the agenda and we start from square one again, because I'm not going to keep starting at square one. It's really too hard, because every time we do this between Brett and myself, we've already done this one whole round, and then Brett and I started all over again with the same, and it's extremely, a great deal of time to do that as well, so.
Well, maybe a thought process I'll just toss out there is after we get all that information out there, maybe we dedicate a committee meeting solely to just feedback from the public, and we advertise everywhere that we want the public to come and give us their feedback.
And maybe that could be one that you would be
Yeah.
at, that
Yeah.
we could, because I don't know that I will have all the answers to it, but I certainly can try.
Yeah, but that way we can advertise it as a meeting that we really want people to attend and give
Mhm.
feedback.
Sure.
Just a thought.
Thank you for letting me
Yep.
interject.
And then the water treatment plant, the chemical feed got installed, so that's, project's completed, that'll come off the list. Eleanor Ave 251 water main to Eddy Road, nothing going on with that because we used the grant funds for other project. Be right with you. 2 more to go. The 251 water main extension, we got our, IEPA operating permit for it, so it can be put into service. Landscaping was supposed to start this week, but, not sure how bad we got water out there.
Yeah, wow.
And then we just talked about the Verizon wireless antenna.
Thanks, Matt.
On to the committees, community development and prevents.
All I have is I'm still planning our Halloween party, and just did some graphics and stuff I'll pass around. You guys can see some stuff that she's done with the trick or treat hours and stuff like that. And we had discussed doing trick or treat hours 5 to 8, I think she put on there. And then the party is gonna be, October 12th. I'm throwing back and forth. Normally in the years past, we've done 1 to 4, and a lot of times by 3:30, there's nobody there and it kinda winds down, so we're thinking kind of either doing a 1 to 3 or a 2 to 4. So, still kinda tossing that around, but that's all I have.
On Saturday, right?
What?
It's on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Saturday the 12th.
She does a really nice job on
Yeah.
those.
I,
Just so she can hear that, I want her to
phenomenal.
know that she does a phenomenal job on
She
those.
always does. There are times where I send her stuff and I'm like, come up with something, and she comes up with something.
That's great. And those are the things, those are the ones that you put on Facebook as
Mhm.
well. Those are
Yep.
the
Well, and the thing that she's tossed up was she did a fall one, because we've been calling I've been referring to it as a fall party, versus for the years past, we've been calling it a Halloween party. And I thought, well, let's just turn it over into a fall party, not knowing of what time of year we can ever have it with our schedule. And I guess that's one of the things that I'm tossed against, is if I should stick with it with being a Halloween party, or call it a fall party.
The fall party lends itself nicely to those that
Right.
couldn't typically, participate,
Well,
I mean,
that's what I thought, and I'm like, you
But
never
there
know
are,
what time of the year you're gonna have it.
and anybody would be fall, but not everybody,
Right.
due to, things that they believe in, don't all be able to participate in Halloween. That'd be kinda cool. And it really looks great.
Uh-huh. I really like the fall graph.
It looks phenomenal. She did a great job.
Mhm.
Does that mean you wanna go with fall?
I think I'll give the color fall. I mean, people can still have the option. It's always been the option that they can.
He's showing the puppet.
And the trick or treat one is adorable.
You have to zoom in.
That they can wear, they've always had the option that if they wanna come in costume, they can.
Do you want me to have her put that, like, in the description of the event, like?
Yeah, I'll leave her a sticky.
Perfect.
And that's all I have.
Ordinance enforcement,
Nothing.
parks,
I don't have anything this evening.
Nothing on the basketball courts, John?
Kenny said there'd be a couple days before they'd be usable, they're still roped off right now. That's all he sent me this morning.
Fergie and I went and looked at them this morning, their lines aren't done yet, they're still
Okay,
working
they still
on
have
them. Yeah. Yeah, we'll post on Facebook and on our website when the courts are open again for the public.
I have a question, Matt. When are the,
Yes.
bike paths being done? The bike path on front of the tennis court?
Sometime in the next month and
Before the
3/4.
third week of October.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was figuring the
The-
next 6 weeks.
Those will be done when the paving comes in
Okay.
for the streets.
Thank you.
streets.
Where to start? Did we ever find anything about 134?
I don't have any prices yet, no.
Alright. I've been approached by probably half the people that live within the construction area of Red Fox and Frosty Morning on their concerns and their frustration at the ongoing construction that originally started on June 11th and should have been done on September 11th. So that we've already spent 90 days, and now we're talking about another 50 days before it can be completed. And they're quite frustrated with it and a lot of the changes that have gone on. And some people have approached me on concerns on, some portions of the project, which I'll talk to Matt after the meeting. We have some other issues on projects too that we'll address with the board when we have pricing for them. Other than that, just for the general public, which I walked around and talked to most of the people affected in the construction zone, that, Martin would be coming back out to start construction again, which I actually thought would be today, but because of the rain, clearly, it rained pretty hard, they weren't gonna be here today. I assume that then they will be out tomorrow,
I would assume unless what they're doing is impacted by
I don't know, can they
standing water or,
take up the asphalt and start coring the road or not? I don't know what, but
it should be, I would think so.
I assume by the, in the next couple of days that they'll be out there working on it so that we can get it completed. My priority, and I'm sure that the residents' priority, is that we get the roads completed,
Mm-hmm.
As a priority. That's what they've expressed to me, so that they can get their driveways completed, so, I'm sure that the, landscaping and the rest, they wouldn't be in a hurry, as much of a hurry for,
Right,
but the road would be a priority.
yep. And the road's gotta really has to get done before they kind of finish the landscaping, really.
Well, I actually had people, ask me why they couldn't have done the road, which financially it wouldn't be feasible, because clearly you don't wanna bring your equipment out, pave one and then come back to bring it back to pave another. Financially, that makes no sense, and that's not how we bid it out, which I tried to explain, but, after 90 days, almost 90 days, they're quite frustrated.
Yeah,
Understandably, I can't, I don't.
Well, I
they don't-
understand it totally, 'cause
Well,
I'm
right.
sitting at the end of it.
And it's, unfortunately, there were delays that weren't caused by anything.
well, we're not gonna give them any more time than, and I've already made a note, I'm gonna talk to Mike and Corey, we're not gonna give them any more time than they're due
Dude,
based off of the
I don't want
contract.
you to get me wrong, it's not Martin's fault. So, I mean, we had to wait on ComEd, we had to wait on Nicor, and it actually really wasn't even Nicor so much, 'cause they got out pretty quick and got their stuff taken care of, it was more ComEd.
Yeah,
But, that doesn't really help the people who are.
no, no,
On a side note that, maybe you have an answer to this, it looks like Nicor's and ComEd stuff is still quite torn up, are they planning on fixing it? Or are we supposed to fix that, or how does that work?
no, they should be, was the,
Nicor usually hires a company to come in and do their restoration afterwards.
Well, what, is that ComEd and Nicor, or vice versa?
Don't
I mean, there's
is is the disturbance actually within our project zone? Is it something we're gonna be, I mean, they're good,
Some of it is not, no.
some of it's not, if, whatever is not in our area, then they're gonna need to come in and restore those areas.
I mean, there's the house on the corner there, Frosty Morning and, Golden Prairie. They brought some equipment up and just munched his front yard where they dug down into it. That would be ComEd who did that, and there's another corner where they did some.
I'll make a note to check with Mike, see if he's got contact for both utilities, see if we can get a schedule on when they're gonna be,
If not, we.
Be back
can
in to
go- we can get
restore.
ahold of the community relations people through the village. We know them.
We do have a contact person at ComEd.
Are you going to be removing the stakes for that soon, then? I mean,
This-
where Mike staked out for ComEd and Nicor, are we going to be removing them? I assume that was Mike who staked it out.
I would assume it was, yeah, we can get the stakes out of there if they're done.
Well, they're both done, right? ComEd and Nicor are both.
Yes,
done.
we can remove the
Okay.
easement stakes shouldn't serve any purpose anymore.
Okay.
So,
Other than that, we'll have to get back to you on some of the other
Okay.
projects.
I will say I did get a phone call last week that, there is a gentleman who is watching our videos weekly for updates. And so it is very nice if we continue to give updates like you just did, 'cause he told me he watches every week to find out what the status of stuff is going on.
Why don't we go ahead and just contact our community relations people with ComEd and find out what their restoration is?
Fergie has that number as well, we
Okay.
can do that.
And, Nicor's a new guy. I'll get his name.
Yeah, I don't know who.
I'll get his name and number. I've got the old guy's name and number. I can get it from him.
Mike has quite a few contacts. We've
All right.
generated quite a list
At least we can
from
get
these
something
two projects,
back
so.
to Chris, so that as his neighbors ask, he'll have an answer for what they're looking at for restoration.
Right, yeah, we've got quite a list going.
You just
Yeah.
gotta remember next week to do an update of what happened during the past week. Speaking of which, do you mind if I put that on the agenda again for next week then?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Anything further?
No.
Utilities?
Before Brett gets started, I do wanna remind everybody, just for everybody that's listening or watching, that, due to the holiday trash with Monday being Labor Day and so forth, just a reminder that trash is delayed by a day. So Village Limits is Thursday, September 5th, Rolling Meadows, Friday, September 6th. So, especially with the weather we've been getting, for everybody not to go and put all their garbage out tonight, because tomorrow they're not coming. They'll be here Thursday for Village Limits, and then, Friday for Rolling Meadows. And then I believe Brett is taking it from there.
You're more than welcome to.
I could try.
Okay.
It might be kind of fun. I don't know.
Do you want the backflow, Sandy, or I will? You can
Sure.
knock
So,
yourself out.
I'll pretend I know what I'm doing for a moment. So once a year, we're required to do backflow testing by the state, and we hire a plumbing company who takes care of it for us. We get a letter from a third party that the village has retained to keep track of all of these things, and we go out and double check them with our plumber, and then we pay to have that done, and we send the information off and all as well. Fergie and I noticed that we are still doing the backflow testing for the fire department. And so we struggled this past week to get into the building and to the things that we needed, and so then brought up the discussion to confirm with this board, are we going to still continue with that, or should we let the fire department know that that's just something they can receive the letter and take care of it themselves?
It needs to still be recorded here.
Oh, and so the third party takes care of notifying everybody who's required to do it within the village. We just received the letter for the fire department right now, because it's still listed as a Village of Davis Junction backflow prevention check, and I'm wondering if that's a holdover from when the village owned the building.
Probably is.
So I didn't know, I mean, it's not costly, it's more, that way they can schedule on their time when they're available versus us, our plumber just shows up on the day that works for us, and then we didn't have the ability to access what we needed.
Thoughts?
I'd rather others, comment on that before I
I
do.
know. That's why I was
So
kinda
the
looking
question
this way.
is, do we wanna let the fire department take care of their own backflow preventers?
I don't even know what it is, so.
And I
Well, they'd be more than
think that-
qualified to do so.
Well, they have to hire
They have to hire,
a
so it has to be an
plumber.
Illinois state licensed plumber to do the
I
inspection.
think it maintains a good relationship if we just keep doing it the way it does. It's not costing us, or it's not that big a deal to do it. Just how you keep relationships open, communication open, and friendships kept.
It does, there is a cost.
Well, I'm
Okay.
sure, I mean, they do a lot for our community, being on
About
call
100
and
bucks.
being
Yeah,
volunteers,
yeah.
so it's
For how many?
money well spent in my opinion.
Two.
I believe the fire department has one?
I'm not sure if there's one or
They
two.
have one or two, I don't remember.
I'm not
We don't allow, in the village, we don't allow double backflow preventer check, though, we require RPZs. So it's just they're a little more expensive to test.
Well, and since he said it, then I'll chime in, and I'm glad that you're the first one that said it, because if I say it, then people think I'm biased, because obviously, but, I agree completely. I know, I have to be, like, I have little feelers out everywhere, so, I absolutely agree with John. I think it's about a partnership as well, and what they do for the community, so.
I have
But if,
with that.
if it's something that we need, like, the access to, perhaps then we need to reach out and get the actual keys or fob or whatever it is.
Well, we do have that. I believe we needed the ability to turn off their water. So
Yeah, I don't know. Brent said that he had to make some phone calls and he didn't get any answers, there's something that has to be done. So our only concern was that if we can't get a hold of somebody and then the plumber goes home and then we have to pay for another service call to come back up and do that again. So that was our only concern, with that, so. He ended up getting a phone call in time. I guess it can be done by phone or remotely or whatever, but at that time, no one was answering,
Right.
so
How often does
we
it
didn't
have to
know.
be done?
Once a year.
So I said, it's not a big deal, it's just,
Yeah.
we need to, if we're gonna continue doing it, we just need to make sure that the fire department has a contact that is available
Yeah.
on the
Well,
schedule
then
that
next
we
year when it
have.
needs to be done, you just get a hold of a specific contact and she'll make
Oh.
sure.
I have spread that contact to other
Okay,
people.
thank you.
When people don't answer.
Thank you.
All right, sounds like
Yep.
everybody just wants to continue doing it, so we'll continue it going forward.
All right?
The last one are the, parts that we have from our hypo and fluoride upgrade. We have the old equipment. The old equipment is basically useless to us. So I was approached by, Jason Vose, I believe it was Marengo,
Yeah, I think.
possibly. Wanted to know if we would be willing to work with them, either donate or sell it for $1 or whatever. They would be interested in our old equipment, our old scale, pumps. We have no use for it. I mean, I'm not putting, if we ever go back, obviously we would never use this, equipment, so,
Are they gonna come and get it?
We can
I
throw
would
the cover
assume
in.
somebody would, yeah.
I mean, if it's
Oh.
worthless, don't donate it.
We can throw that cover in too.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's basically what it is. It's basically all the old equipment that we ripped off the wall and off the floor and
I'm-
everything else,
I
so.
missed what Jared said.
If it's worthless, just donate it.
Sandy will take it from here.
Yeah,
She
it,
still has to do the
I
documentation.
still have to do a resolution. It was just whether or not that resolution is
With a price?
disposal with a
Or-
price or disposal just as is, and it is for right now.
You had you had made the comment that it's easier if it's sold for $1 or whatever.
It is,
so that's,
so it is easier.
I didn't know for sure.
Yeah, it is easier to me if we sell it for $1, because that way I can say I've sold the goods as opposed to donated the goods.
That's fine.
Yeah, so,
Everybody okay with that?
basically the same
There's
thing.
no real value to it anyway, right?
Mm-mm.
Not as useful.
If we wanna list it on eBay and try to part it out, I guess maybe, but like I said, the pumps have to be rebuilt, the scales are rusted.
But no real value.
Are those all the original?
We've got like 6 LMI pumps down there, Matt.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's all,
Original.
basically,
20
we were
20
gonna
years
put it in
old.
the dumpster.
You're
Yeah.
pumping
Sounds
corrosive
fun.
chemicals.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then I will prepare a resolution that you'll probably see on the agenda next week.
Anything further?
I think that's it for me, Dina.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Rolling Meadows water, no update, mosquito spraying, no update.
I have a question,
Well,
I have a question about that,
What's
Which
that?
one?
about the mosquito spraying.
All right.
Are we still licensed to spray that?
There will be no spraying during the
Okay.
remainder of this year,
Okay. So I figured,
unfortunately.
that's what I figured.
Yep. We're not able to spray the rest of the
Will
year.
somebody be getting a license other than our new hiree?
We have other people with licenses, that's not the issue. There are some new requirements with the IEPA and IDNRs, so we need to come up to date on those. So we're just not spraying the rest of this year.
So we contacted them and we just
Yep.
chose the route of not spraying until we
No,
get our
that's
license
Yep.
upgraded.
But everything is on a rock and roll, and we've been in touch with both of those organizations, so.
And the mosquito spraying on here, I mean, that's, but that was more of our
Right.
agreement with,
Fellow communities.
Mhm.
yeah.
And
I
once-
just know
We're waiting for
sometimes
them.
we've done it for Fall Festival,
Yep.
that's why.
And so, once we get this into place,
Mhm.
then we will have, I will be able to walk through with the other communities what they have to do in order to get in a position where we can do it for them.
It's really bad when Sandy calls the state and they don't know how to fill out the form,
Yeah.
so.
Are you surprised?
Fergie and I went to a meeting and we knew more than they did, and it was a little shocking, so, so we've kind of had to thumb our way through it, and the state was great when we did something
Yeah.
wrong, they called Fergie,
Did
and they
you
were
ask
like,
them
nope,
for
you need to do it
some
this
extra
way.
pay from that day?
No.
Knowing more than they did?
No,
No,
you-
but the state's been great working
You don't
with
talk back
us.
to the state.
Yeah.
No, they'll just charge you
Definitely
more.
what-
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
No, but it's been great. We're almost there. But the nice thing about it is we
The
are
privilege of teaching.
probably one of the first communities of our size in Ogle County to do it. So we will also be in a position to help our fellow communities
Learn
get
how to
into a
do it.
position to also do that, because our size gets us different requirements than some of the larger surrounding ones.
Hmm.
So it's been interesting, but we're almost there.
Sidewalks, anybody have an update?
Nope.
I didn't think so, it was on our, and water and sewer rates, so we've already discussed that.
Mhm.
Public?
What are we doing about the four-wheeler running around town and the little, I'm gonna call it a mini bike? It's a little tiny bike about this big with some big kid on it.
Yeah.
We can't do nothing if they're on the roadway. That's Ogle County, so you have to call the police. Now, if they're in their yard, we can do something. But
We can't do anything if they're on our city streets?
can't do nothing.
I asked that like a couple,
We don't have a police department to enforce that.
So you can call the county, but the county's not.
County told me that they wouldn't come out.
Really? They
Alright.
told you that?
Yeah.
Yep,
What the heck?
We're
It's been
too,
that way for
So,
years.
we're
I'm
too
gonna-
busy to take care of something like that.
There's
I'm
lots.
gonna expound on it a little bit, because during our last mayor's meeting, Mayor of Thompson, Thompson has a police department. And it was a question to her of, what does her police department actually cost her? They're smaller than we are. And the number she came up with was really low. So I asked her to put together more of a comprehensive list of what she spends on, the police department, because I asked her, I said, so when you take somebody, when you arrest somebody in Thompson and you haul them to the county jail, what does it cost you to house them there? Well, I don't know. So I wanted more of a thorough number, because I have a feeling there's gonna be other numbers that come into this, other than what they strictly budget for car, uniform, salaries. But from talking to her, it sounds like a lot of those numbers could put us a lot lower than what we've looked at in the past. Something to look at again in the future. What's that?
Over the number, they were around
She was-
300,000 is what we had.
She was around, I think, 120.
No way.
I don't think
Uh,
it's necessary for a four-wheeler enforcement. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend.
It is.
It would be more than
They have
that.
a cop,
Well, we
have
might
somebody
wanna
sitting in
think
the
about
truck.
a police department, because if we do have a little shop that sells marijuana, someone goes in there at gunpoint, because
Well, somebody went into the bank at gunpoint.
it's gonna take Ogle County a while to get there if they're not around.
But when we were looking at doing buybacks and of actually hiring deputies for the sheriff to come in, we were looking at spending that same amount of money. So if we can do it, if we can look, I mean, it's something to look at. We don't have to move forward with it.
When you
But I've
say,
just asked her to
when
put
you
those
say
numbers
same
together.
amount of money, you mean 120?
Yes.
Or 300,000?
No, about the 120. So
Well-
we've heard anywhere from 300 to probably $1 million to start a police department, depends on the size of your community. It seems to keep getting lower and lower, but I wanted a little more in-depth discussion with her on what her rates actually include, if it's just strictly salaries, or if she's including all the incidentals, like cars and radios and uniforms and all this.
IMRF.
Right, insurance,
What about
exactly.
time?
Programs. It's gotta be
So,
more than that.
there is a lot that we're still trying to find out, but the initial, I mean, they've got the prison there, but they are very small compared to us. It's just
How small a town is it?
Probably about 850.
Well, there might be different statutory
Not counting the prisoners.
requirements based on the size as well, because I remember, if I remember
More
right,
prisoners.
you had to have a full-time chief, and then you could have part-time officers, but you're still gonna have IMRF, retirement insurance.
They don't.
and-
Yeah, she gets away from all of that. She says something about she uses essentially part-time officers from other municipalities to staff her.
she does have a full-time chief.
You have to have that by statute, I believe, but,
So-
I mean, if you look at 1,800 versus 2,700, I mean, your coverage is gonna be different, I would think, for
Well,
the number of officers.
again, she's got
and costs,
850.
No.
The size of the village would depend on a lot, but it'd be just interesting to see what they're.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the cost, but,
You ever check with Malta?
No.
They haven't
we've gone down this road many.
I mean, most of the smaller communities that we deal with, oops, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
Most of the smaller communities we deal with, probably 1,500 and less, they'll probably more than likely have just one full-time officer, and then they supplement it with
Part-time officer.
part-time ones. You know, it could be county sheriff department officers looking to pick up extra time and coverage on whether it be nights, weekends.
There's one
What a-
officer that does that in Hillcrest. He works for the county, and then he's off in
Well,
Hillcrest.
I don't know
all
who
the time.
works
Once-
in Hillcrest anymore.
Once you start getting a little bit bigger, you know,
Well, that's-
2,500
See
to
what the
5,000,
Yeah.
then you might be, the police force might have 2 or 3,
Yeah, but he's,
and then part-time.
that's right, like Kingston and Kirkland, they're both staffed by all part-timers.
But if you're looking for ordinance enforcement and catching people on four-wheelers on the streets, you could probably go smaller.
Or people running
'Cause,
stop
I mean, if you guys read the Ogle County Life, and, I mean, I flip through that thing every Saturday to see what the calls were to DJ, and the majority of it is domestics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
You're
really
not gonna
just
solve
don't
domestic
mind
Been surprised.
four-wheelers
Throwing
as
gas.
long as they do the speed limit and they stop at the.
Stopping would be
The
wonderful.
stop signs would be great, because that's what they're there for.
Yeah, but I mean,
And-
whizzing down
And
the
it's not
street
just
flying.
children.
Oh, no, it's not
adults.
children.
No.
I think Rick's right with getting the costs, and I really think that's something, if we did move forward, that needs to be an open forum type thing with the public, so they would have a
Oh, absolutely.
definite understanding of what that's gonna do to their taxes, what they can expect to pay per month to have, in a sense, something I don't personally feel we need at the moment, based on what the calls are, and I think William, when he had looked into it before, pulled the call sheets, and it was pretty much just all the domestics.
Right,
That's
I
a,
said,
it's a big price to pay.
you're not gonna have a patrolling officer solve domestics, it's just not gonna
Right.
happen.
It's a big price to pay just for.
That's something that's already happened, and then they call.
Wouldn't even want him to answer the call by himself.
Oh, no.
Right,
Can get dangerous.
Nope.
you know, would it solve the hoodie people walking around?
No.
Breaking into people.
They don't walk around Rockford.
Yeah, I
Vandalism.
don't remember where it was this morning, somebody had posted.
Shayna.
somebody- yeah,
Shayna.
In their
his
kitchen.
Yeah.
Were they making coffee?
With a white
No.
sweatshirt.
No,
It's
Good
on DJ
sweatshirt.
Ranch.
had his hoodie all pulled around his face. Be a
Robbing
bad,
him or
bad
what?
way to wake up to a shotgun.
That's not the place to be,
Yep.
breaking in the house, is Shayna, 'cause 95, probably 99% of the community owns a gun.
I don't think ours is much different.
I don't think so either.
They're all hunters over there.
I definitely would not encourage people to shoot, but,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
were you done before we go for that far? Okay. So Jen makes a motion to adjourn. Who seconded?
Aye.
John seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We're adjourned at 8:01.